Bonjour Atlanta, welcome back to Bonjour Atlanta, the podcast where we talk about what it really takes to start a new home and a new life in a new city. I'm Ami, your go-to real estate agent and fellow transplant, and I'm here to help you with everything from finding the right neighborhood to making Atlanta feel just like home. Today's episode is very special because not only it's Mardi Gras, shout out to my Louisiana listeners, but today we are talking about what it really takes to pack everything and move to a new state to start over. And who is better to talk to us about that than my guest today? Her name is Latonia Jones. She moved from Louisiana to Georgia when she was 19 years old. And today we are diving into her journey, what she has learned, what she wished she knew, and maybe some advice she has for someone who is thinking about making a big move. So Latonia, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone, grab your beignet and a cafe au lait and let's get into it. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
Yes, of course. Well, let's start. Let's just dive right in. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your move. Like, why and how was it moving from Louisiana to Georgia?
Ooh, well, of course, I did not want to move. I was 19 doing my thing. I was with my man. I was in college at Louisiana Tech. So, I was having a time. And my mom, they came to visit Atlanta, Georgia. And next thing I know, I got a phone call saying, we're moving. And I'm like, I'm not going. And she said, you are. The whole entire family packed up and we moved here.
Yeah, Atlanta will do that to you. I have kind of similar story. I got here the first time and it was love at first sight. I'm like, I'm moving here. I don't care what it takes. I'm moving. So they were victim too. So now you're here, and how was that? I know that was a long time ago for you, but first, how was the move? How did you process such a big move? Because you were living somewhere you've always known, and to go somewhere you had no clue about. How was that like for you?
It definitely had a shock factor for me. Because I'm from Monroe, Louisiana, which is a smaller town, and getting here to Georgia, my eyes was just like, so it was a tough transition initially, because this is a big city, and I felt like I was being swallowed up in this big city, not knowing anyone, just my family, and just trying to navigate the streets of Atlanta and, find a job and transfer from Louisiana Tech to Kennesaw State University. So it was a tough time for me, but, over the years, it got better.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're still here. So I guess Atlanta is doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your first impression when you moved to Atlanta? Like, what was going through your head?
Of course, I was scared. Like I said, I was from a small town, and, moving here was just so much to do, and it was so big in my eyes at that time. So my family, they had a big shock factor, although they came to visit before moving. But it was a hard time to adapt to some of the certain things here in Atlanta. So from where I'm from, you don't see a lot of interracial dating. So when I got here, I began to see a lot of that. So I was like, oh, this is okay here. Like, so that was one thing that like truly threw me aback. So
really? That's interesting. Because they're both in the South, you would think there's similarities.
Right. But, here it was bam, smack in your face. So that was a adjustment. And like I said, just trying to get my footing in this city. It was a tough time even for, like I said, some of my family members. My mom, she was thinking about moving back because she had like this whole anxiety attack about, a few months in, just trying to find, a place to stay. It was a lot more expensive than what we were used to. So a lot of research wasn't done on my family's part.
Okay.
So that made it a little tough for us. But we managed and we got through it, and here we are now, 25 plus years later?
Yeah, so it worked out.
And
I guess that's the first lesson we can take from this, right? Like,
absolutely.
do some research. How much research would you recommend?
You need to do a lot of researching.
Yeah.
You need to do neighborhood research. I would definitely, if you have children, you need to research the schools. And with my mom, she was a licensed cosmetologist and an instructor, but her nothing transferred over. So there was not any reciprocity to Georgia. So she would have to start all over. She didn't do that research. And so, it was a tough time for her trying to, make some adjustments and some changes in her career. So you definitely need to dive deep, do your research. You want to research the neighborhoods, you want to research the schools, and definitely if you're transitioning from, a different state, the job matters. So you definitely want to make sure if you're in real estate or if you're in, if any type of license needs to be transferred over to a different state, you want to do your research on that.
That's a good point, because I was going to ask you, a segue to this is, do you recommend people moving before finding a job, or do you think you absolutely need to find a job? What's your take on that? Like, find a job before you move, or just move and make it happen?
Well, it depends on your circumstance. If you have the means to move without finding that job, you have some money saved up, it may be okay for you to do that. But if not, you definitely want to find that job first and then, make that transition.
Got it. I think for me, I came here on all transparency. I had no job, no money, no plans. And I'm in like a lot of social media groups, and I see people like that. They're like, I don't have any jobs. Should I move? And some people will say, no, like, make sure you get a job and everything. But I'm here now. It worked out for me. So what I would say is, you don't have to wait for everything to be perfect, at least from my personal experience. It depends on how bad you want it, because I knew I was ready to do whatever it takes. But I know I have to be a little careful with that, saying that, but you can't do everything, because that can catch up to you.
Definitely.
That can catch up to you. And I didn't do anything that I can say I will be embarrassed or ashamed of, but I knew coming in, even though I was coming after college, I had a degree and everything, but my expectations were a little low. I was ready to do any kind of jobs, like cleaning jobs, McDonald's. I was okay with doing all of those things while I was building myself. So once, like, yes, ideally you want to have a job, but even if you don't have a job and you are that type of person that will hustle, that will work and get your way there slowly but surely, I think you can still make the move.
And then sometimes those circumstances makes you work harder.
Yes, definitely.
So you really have to, if you're getting it out the mud, you really have to work harder, and you'll definitely, push through it and make things happen.
Yep, definitely. So now, after your move, what was the most difficult adjustment for you to make being in a new state?
I guess I would say making that transition, because it was hard for me to find a job at first, because, of course, in Louisiana, I didn't work. I was a full-time student. So I wanted to have things, because I was riding the bus. So I wanted to have a car. So I knew I needed a job. So I start going to the mall and put in applications, and I got a job. My first job was Lady Foot Locker. And at Lady Foot Locker, I moved my way up. I became the key holder, then the assistant manager. So that allowed me to, buy the things that I needed and wanted, so that I can eventually, get my own place and things like that. So I guess trying to navigate through this whole transition, finding a job, getting back in school, and things like that.
That's very interesting to hear. It's like, what I hear from this is you started from the bottom, because I see a lot of people, I think when they see Atlanta on TV, they have this expectation that on day one they will be driving Lamborghinis and like living in big homes, and it was so easy, everything is so cheap. It's not. Nowhere. I don't think that worked anywhere. Like, that doesn't work anywhere.
Well, I would say back then it was a little bit cheaper, but it was, for us, it was much cheaper where we came from, Louisiana. So it was a lot more affordable in Atlanta. Now comparing,
definitely not right now.
The price.
Yeah, especially rentals are very expensive. When I moved here around 2015, you could still find a pretty decent apartment in a gated community with pool and everything for $600. And I used to complain about that.
Oh, girl.
I didn't know.
If we can turn back the hands of times. Oh, my God.
Yeah, because now we're looking at what? At least $1,700
more than that,
for
depending
a
on the location.
bedroom. One bedroom. So those are things you need to be prepared for. Definitely. And that may not be where you start. You might start. I remember when I got here, I almost didn't have a place to stay. I went on Craigslist and rented a room. That's how I started. Wow. Yes, with a stranger. So, but that I was and I was willing to. I can say I was willing to suffer a little bit because I knew this is what I wanted. I didn't believe in easy. There's nothing easy. Nothing comes to you easy. I knew I had to grind my way there. That was my expectation. And even though it was hard, I didn't see it as hard because mentally I was prepared for that. So I think that also you have to be prepared mentally for what it takes, because Atlanta is not your friend. Louisiana and Georgia are both in the South, but they have a different vibe. So what would you say are some of the cultural differences between Georgia and Louisiana?
I would definitely say I would start with the food. The food is a big difference. Of course, Louisiana, our southern cuisine consists of mostly seafood, shrimp, your etouffee, your crawfish. In Georgia, I come here, there's lemon pepper wings. Lemon pepper wings. And I've never had a lemon pepper wing until last year.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that was my first time eating lemon pepper.
Wait, where did you eat that?
I think it was, what is it called? Wingstop.
Okay, Wingstop. Okay.
Wingstop, yeah.
Was it good?
It was good.
Yeah.
They're okay.
I think people in Atlanta here, Wingstop is a big deal.
Oh, yeah, Wingstop is a big thing. Yeah. But I would definitely say the food is a... It's a wide difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might be a little biased, but where would you say the food is better, Atlanta or Louisiana?
Definitely, I'm biased. Louisiana.
What is what? I guess your favorite food there. What was your favorite food there?
And still is today. I love a good etouffee.
Okay.
I love crawfish and I love shrimp with a little kick to it. It has to have some spice to it.
Okay.
And when I found restaurants here in different seafood places that sold Louisiana cuisine, because they were from Louisiana and they kind of moved here, I was in love. So it's a few spots that I visit quite often.
So you can find.
Okay. Some people, everybody's cooking is different, but you can find something that's similar to what you left, I left, rather.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how would you rate Atlanta's cuisine or Georgia's cuisine?
I've been here 20 plus years, so I've kind of adapted to, some of the things. So I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay, that's okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. I always fight with people who be hating on Atlanta's food because I don't know where you eat, but I think, in my personal humble opinion, Atlanta has some of the best food. Georgia in general has some of the best food. Oh. I will argue with anyone, any state. I don't see it.
Where?
Everywhere. Where do you go? Where do you eat? Where are some places here that you eat consistently, and how would you rate the food?
Okay, so some of the places I eat at consistently, it's a little place on the square. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. But they sell seafood. Gosh, I can't think of the name. So there, I love a good papados because I love their,
papados.
Etouffee.
Is good. Yeah, papados is just like Louisiana. Is it true to Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the most part, yeah. And then I love the little brunch spots. Mm-hmm. So, some of them have some great dishes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have some favorites. I always say the first one I always start with toast on Lennox.
Oh, yeah. I've eaten there before, yeah.
So you don't think the food is amazing there?
I'm not, you're going to air this video, so I'm not. It was good. It was okay. So, but I've only gone like twice. So, I haven't tried multiple dishes. I'm the type, if I try something and I like it, I'm going to eat that over and over. I'm not going to try anything different.
Okay, got it. I'm going to get off script a little bit. So which state would you say has the best food that you tried? Like, if we were to rank states, where would you say is the number one for food for you?
Number one, I would have to go with my state.
You're just biased.
I'll have to go with my state, of course. And then if we want to go, out of state, I would have to say Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We can argue with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, international flair.
International.
We can't handle that. Yeah. But then Atlanta is number one in the state, though. I'm just saying. How did you find a sense of community here in Atlanta?
I would say I found my sense of community when I started working in corporate America. Because I worked for a big corporation. So just finding that type of family and that culture that I was, familiar with, I would just definitely say that. So probably in my late 20s.
Would you say, is it easy to find your community, your vibe, your tribe? Would you say it's easy? How easy is it to build a community here or to be part of a community?
I think it's easy for most people, but I'm an introvert, I'm a loner. So it's a little bit harder for me until I get comfortable and feel that I can trust you. I'm not as, open. So,
Got it.
But I think most people here, they build their communities pretty easily.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many different cultures and, the people and all types of elite this and elite that. So I think a lot of people don't have a tough time
to find
here.
people.
Yeah.
Now, for our audience, the people listening to us, now that you've been here so long, what are some things or some tips that you would say that could help somebody, a newcomer, build a community or find their people? What are some activities or some things they could do to make that integration easier for them?
So definitely get out and network. There's small network groups out. There's some, depending on if you're a millennial, if you're 40 and up age group. So there's different communities that you can tap into. So just getting out and networking with different people.
Okay. Any networking groups that you like or you've been part of?
I have not tapped into the network groups. I've heard of many, but if I can say I'm in a few network groups on Facebook, but in person, no, I have not tapped into.
Got it. Is it those networking groups on Facebook? How do you get a sense of community on Facebook?
Well, it just depends on the specific group. I think I'm in a group for Black women in real estate. There's several different groups out there on Facebook. If you feel more comfortable, if you're an introvert like me, you may feel more comfortable, tapping in and talking to people over social media versus in person. But I would say, honestly, in person is the best because, you're able to really engage with people and, get a sense of, okay, this is an authentic person versus online, what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think in-person networking is way better than
That's good. Yeah.
online.
So go on Facebook and find some groups and hopefully that leads to meeting in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now for you, any funny or unexpected experiences as a newcomer that you can share with us?
Oh, gosh. When I moved to Atlanta, I did not know about the LTG, what is it? LBTG, not to offend anyone, please.
LGBT or something.
Yeah.
But you know
Community.
what we mean. Yeah.
And I had on this Rainbow Bright t-shirt because growing up, I was a Rainbow Bright girl. So I was riding the bus and, a lady tried to hit on me. And
That's funny. Did you go to Midtown or something?
No, I was actually in Cobb County.
That's an inside joke. I know Atlanta people would get it.
I was in Cobb County, and who knew that and it was the weekend, the Pride weekend.
Oh.
So hence, that's why they were selling the shirts in Target. Oh. And I'm thinking, look, Rainbow Bright. Let me get a shirt.
That's funny.
And so, I got hit on, but, I turned that person down. I respect everybody, but, I wasn't interested. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, how to dress.
I'm sure there's many more that, I just can't think of, but I've had my experience here in Atlanta.
That's funny. Yeah. For me, it was the traffic, the roads. I used to be so scared to drive.
Really?
Yes. Because the roads are just different. I had moved here from Minnesota. And the roads here are it's like the road will go straight, but then turn around, but it's still going straight. It's like all these little turns. It's confusing. It's like, what drugs were they on when they build those roads? And I'm always scared to be in the wrong lane. But no, it's the right lane, but it feels like it's the wrong lane. So I used to be terrified. People just speeding, like
Oh yeah,
brake
definitely.
checking you in the
Oh,
back,
yeah.
and just like that used to scare me too, because I'm like, I'm driving the speed limit. Actually, I'm above the speed limit, sir. What do you want me to do? And they're like so aggressive. I'd be so scared, and I'd be scared to make eye contact with them, because I'd be like,
But I know that's not you now, right?
no, now
Yeah.
now I'm a G on this
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. Maybe it's the other way around. Now.
Right,
I'm
right.
probably bullying
You're that
some
person.
newcomer. Every time I see out of state license plates, I'm like, oh my god, one of these. I want to show them
Can't
how
drive.
we do it here.
Right.
That's really funny. Yeah, the difference. So it gets
Yep.
better, because I was definitely terrified. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get used to this. The roads were so large. I've never seen a road with like 5 lanes.
Oh yeah,
Just one way.
I
It's
come
like,
from a two
wow.
highway
Yeah,
lane.
I know.
Yeah.
That was outrageous for me. I hated making turns, like changing lanes. Oh my god, like sometimes I remember even missing my exit because I was too scared to turn. So yeah,
Spaghetti Junction used to scare me. I was like, why
me
is it
too.
up so
I know,
high?
like so high
Yeah.
into the tree. I used to be so scared and close my eyes.
Definitely a
And be like, you probably don't want to close your eyes. That's not gonna help you.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, so yeah, welcome to Atlanta. That's
to the
definitely
A.
what we do. Yes, the roads are definitely different, and we know you heard about that traffic. So
Oh, it's worse.
yes. So you have built an amazing career here in real estate. So how did you go from a newcomer, I don't know anybody, I don't know anything here, to a thriving business, which is a people business?
Wow. So who knew that this introvert would be selling real estate, right? Like I said, I came from corporate America. I was in management, so I managed people for years. And then I just made this transition to real estate. I always wanted to get into real estate. When I bought my first home, I never deleted my FMLS.
The searches?
The search. So I would check all the time, and my agent would be like, hey, I see you checking. Are you trying to buy another house? So I never, steered away from that. And I actually signed up for real estate school before the market crashed and was terrified. So I didn't pursue it. So when I decided that I was going to leave corporate America, I said, this is my time. I thought first I was going to be a stay-at-home wife, but that's not my personality. One, I got to have my own money. I just thought long and hard and say, hey, I'm going to go take this test. I'm going to go study, take this test, and I'm going to do my thing. And I will say the first few years was rough. It was rough. I think the first home I sold was maybe 3 or 4 months after I got my license, and then I didn't sell anything. I was trying. I was doing everything. I was paying for leads, and nothing just happened. And a few years after that, I stayed consistent, and I just saw that my business took off. So it was a big transition from getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, being on salary, to being commissioned. But I am a people's person. I love to help people, so my background is helping people. So this is where, I decided that this is it for me. Real estate is it. This is the end of my career is going to be in real estate.
So being such an introvert and being new in the area, how did you start building a network?
It's funny. It's funny. Like I said, I am an introvert. So, I'm always, kind of temperature checking, I guess you can say, when I meet my clients, just filling them out and just trying to gauge a sense of, who they are, what they like, and, just tapping into that. But like I said, I am a people's person in terms of, I guess you can say, work. Meeting new people. Real estate has opened up me from being 100% introvert. I guess I can say I'm an 80% introvert now. But
you're a flexible introvert.
I'm a flexible introvert. I like that. So now I love what I do. So I love talking to people. I love meeting new people. I love helping people. Just seeing the end of the whole process and them happy and they're smiling and they received everything that they wanted. So just that gives me so much joy seeing that.
That's really good. That's awesome. So do you think being from Louisiana has helped you connect with clients in a unique way?
I don't think so. I think, because Yeah, I grew up in Louisiana. I was 19, but I think the maturity came from, being here in Georgia and the experiences that I've been through here. So, um, yeah, I would definitely say Louisiana had nothing to do with it in a sense, but I would say Georgia because Georgia really kind of made me in a sense.
Push you to be a hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good. That's how they would do it. So now that we are on this topic, I know we already kind of dropped some gems for our listeners, but what are some advice or some tips you will have for newcomers here when it comes to real estate, finding a home and where to live, and even the career moves? Do you have some tips and some advice?
Yeah, I would, like we were speaking of earlier, I would definitely say if you are in the market to buy or sell, you want to make sure that you're linking up with an agent who knows what they're doing, who knows the market, who can advocate for you, who can negotiate on your behalf. You definitely want to, if you're moving from a different state to Georgia, you definitely want to do your research first. You definitely want to make sure that you understand or know the area. So, taking those visits, if you're in town, taking those visits throughout the day, at night, to just kind of see, if that's a good fit for you and your family. Definitely you want to research. If you have children, you want to research the schools and make sure that, the schools are what you would want your children to attend. Getting in real estate, you definitely want to, it seems easy. We make these posts, but it's a lot of hard work. You have to put in the work. Being an entrepreneur itself, you have to put in the work. You're working for yourself. So just make sure that this is a career that you definitely want to be in. It's not easy. You're not going to make, tons of money off the rip. You have to put in the work. You have to work hard. You have to work hard. And if you're going to get in this industry, you want to make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons and you are advocating for your clients. It's not all about you. You're putting your clients first. So that's important.
And a side note, just know that 70% of real estate agents didn't make a single sale.
71%.
71% last year of real estate agents didn't sell a single house. So there is this thought that you can be a real estate agent and be a millionaire and real estate agent to make a lot of money. It's a scam.
I mean, it can't happen if you put in the work.
It's less than 1%.
Yeah,
so 71% didn't even sell one house. That tells you a lot.
That's something to think about.
That's definitely something to think about. Some of the takeaways that I have so far from our conversation is if you move to a new place, find your community ASAP, whether it's online, join Facebook groups, find communities around you. It's always better to meet in person if you're part of a church, a temple, a mosque, and stuff like that. Just being more engaged in your community that can help you start a life a little bit easier. And we say also give yourself grace. It takes time. It will take time. And the way you feel right now or the way you feel when you move, it's not going to last. All those fears will go away, like with our experiences. We had fears, we had doubts, but we gave ourselves time. With time, things get better, you get better. And so that's something to keep in mind. And then be open to change, right? New place, new opportunities. You moved for a reason because maybe you wanted to change. Maybe you didn't like where you were in life or you just wanted something new. So just be open, whatever. You can do your research, you can do your planning, but just be open and flexible and knowing that things may not go the way you want, but that's okay because sometimes that's how great things start, right?
Absolutely.
It starts from a way that you never thought it would have been. So just give yourself grace and be open to change. Okay, so we are almost at the end of our time together. Final words, Miss Latonya?
I would just say, in everything that you do, never quit. You can always pivot, but don't quit. Keep moving, keep striving, because you never know. You may be on the brink of making it happen for yourself and you give up, so you'll never know. So pivoting, making a few tweaks here and there, that may be the best versus quitting.
Yeah, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. All right, y'all. This has been a great and fun conversation. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. If you're listening to us and you made a big move to Atlanta or you're thinking about it, share your story with us in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Tag us, tag me, Ami, the international agent. I'd love to know your big move story. So before we wrap up, let me tell you about next week's episode. Because if you are new to Atlanta, this one is for you. We'll be talking about buying versus renting in Atlanta. What's best for you? I'll break down the numbers, the pros, the cons, and help you decide which option makes the most sense for your situation. So don't miss it. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Au revoir. Merci.